Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Zoom instead of Facebook Live. My name is Noelle Schroeder, and I have Adrienne Irizarry with me, and we were so excited to do a Facebook Live interview, and then Facebook wouldn't let us. For some reason, there was no longer the option to do a simulcast. So here we are on Zoom, and we're going to share the recording when we're done, and hopefully some people might join us because we've also shared the Zoom ID. So my name is Noelle Schroeder, and we're so glad you're joining us tonight. Adrienne is a holistic health practitioner. I'm going to let her explain more about what that is, but she specializes in women's health and Eastern medicine, and I have an alternative healing background. So when I met Adrienne, I was just totally fascinated by what she does, had a million questions, and still am totally fascinated and can't wait to learn more. So Adrienne, tell us a little bit about your background and what you do.
So I am a peri-steam hydrotherapist. It is an up-and-coming profession here in the United States, although it really speaks to a practice that's been done for people for thousands of years all over the world. It touches every continent, so this isn't a newfangled thing that, got its rise because of Gwyneth Paltrow. Like, this is, and Chrissy Teigen, like, I have to mention her too. Like, those are two of the more famous faces that have been behind some of the most recent surge of information. But really, peri-steam hydrotherapy just talks specifically to using steam and herbs to regulate women's cycles. And I have a background in Chinese dietetics. I have a diploma in Chinese nutritional therapy. So I use food therapy because in Eastern medicine, food is medicine, to work with women literally every phase of their life, from the time their periods start all the way through postmenopause, to regulate imbalances and reestablish harmony in the body.
Awesome, thank you. So this is a hot topic right now for many reasons, but can you tell us a little bit about the statistics on infertility?
The statistics really are staggering. A lot of people experience infertility. Over 68% of couples who are trying to get pregnant, whether it's primary or secondary infertility, experience some level of infertility, and Western medicine defines that as trying to conceive for a year or longer without success. And from my background, a lot of that can be addressed with turning an eye towards menstrual health. So we here in the United States, not only are we very sedentary, and that doesn't help overall, but menstrual imbalances are a big cause. So menstrual imbalances can show up as brown blood, cramping, periods that are shorter than 4 days, having menses that isn't red for whatever reason. And, I could write a whole book on that. But there are several things that Eastern medicine identifies as reasons why infertility happens. And in women, a big part of it has to do with menstrual cycle health and nutrition.
Forgot I was muted there. So thank you for that. So in terms of a woman who wants to get pregnant and she's been using hormonal birth control, how does she effectively come off hormonal birth control and then get pregnant, and how long is that process normally to do it the right way?
So one thing that, if you go to your practitioner and you go, hey, I'm ready to have a baby, I'd like to, come off of birth control and be able to start trying. Many doctors will say that, give yourself one cycle after you've come off of hormonal birth control and you can start trying. And I think that advice actually feeds that really high statistic of 68% simply because there's a lot of things that happen while you're on hormonal birth control. So, people are excited about the fact that they don't have periods, or their periods are really light and almost non-existent. But the issue is hormonal birth control is designed to give you a withdrawal bleed. It's not an actual period, because the contraception is designed to interrupt a healthy cycle happening in the body, whether that means the endometrial lining isn't fully formed, so implantation can't happen, a mucus barrier is formed so that implantation can't happen, or ovulation can't happen. So one of those three parameters is the reason why your contraception is working. But in doing that, you're interrupting, like I said, a healthy process in the body. So when you do that for enough cycles, you actually start disrupting the hormone loop and that communication. So it takes oftentimes, now obviously there are outliers statistically, but the large majority of people who are coming off of hormonal birth control find that they'll try 6 months to a year or longer and they still don't have success, and they don't have answers for why. And one of the reasons that this is so prevalent is when you use hormonal contraception over a prolonged period of time, your body ends up nutrient deficient. Selenium, magnesium, these are some of the really important nutrients that you lose as a byproduct of taking these medications for a prolonged period of time, but are very critical to the conception process. So having enough time to rebuild those nutritional deficits, and the longer you're on hormonal contraception, obviously the deeper the deficit is. But making sure that you have really robust nutrition, in addition to doing a practice like vaginal steaming, which I do in my practice, both of those things together help create the ideal conditions for conception to happen naturally. When your cycle is happening at a regular cadence of showing up every 28 to 30 days, you're bleeding for 4 days only. There's no cramps, there's no PMS, no PMDD, no bloating, no symptom funny business. That is what a standard healthy cycle looks like. And when you have a standard healthy cycle, it increases exponentially your chances of being able to conceive naturally, because you have no interruptions in your hormone loop. So in order to get there, yes, there is a physical component, which if you're interested in vaginal steaming and how that part works, I am giving a Facebook Live on Thursday, this Thursday, the 23rd, to be able to talk a little bit more about that practice and how it works. But steaming and nutrition together is one of the most ideal ways to be able to create that harmony that you need, rebuild those nutritional deficits in order to be able to successfully get pregnant when you start actively trying.
That's amazing. And so, that period that you just described, however, sounds like the perfect period. I don't think I know one woman who has a period like that. So there's clearly a lot of issues before anyone even tries to consider pregnancy, and just in terms of getting their periods healthy, whether they've been on hormonal birth control or not. Would you agree?
I do. I have yet to meet a woman that walks into my office with a standard healthy cycle, and that is totally normal. This is in no way like body shaming. Like, it is so incredibly normal, because we have toxins in our food, toxins in the atmosphere. Our world is moving faster than it's ever moved before. And our body can't tell the difference between being chased by a saber-toothed tiger and 100 unanswered emails. We still have that same fight or flight response, because our bodies are designed to respond that way. And when your body prioritizes the hierarchy of things in your body, it goes, uterus is not needed unless you get away from tiger, right? So because that happens, it's one of the first systems in the body that starts to lose its efficiency. So really, when your menstrual health is healthy, systemically, you are healthy, because you can't have one without the other.
And so how long would it take for a healthy woman with this healthy cycle to then actually get pregnant on average?
So in order to establish this unicorn period that I talk about, it generally will take 3 to 6 cycles, with, again, working with steam in addition to really good core nutrition. So on average, I tell people 3 to 6 months. Obviously, there are some people that respond to the therapy very quickly. It could be less or it could be a little more. But, if you have other underlying conditions like endometriosis, polycystic ovarian syndrome, fibroids, all of those things can be completely eradicated with steaming, which is amazing. And good nutrition is a huge piece of that as well, because in Eastern medicine, food is medicine. So the two work hand in hand very well. But once you have established that standard healthy cycle that I described, which, like you said, sounds like a unicorn, and I deal in unicorns. Once that happens, a lot of times people will get pregnant in their first couple, 3 attempts. And they go on to have healthy, successful pregnancies with lower rates of miscarriage, because a lot of times miscarriages will happen because you had imbalances walking into the pregnancy.
And so in talking about whole food nutrition, because that's my area that I love to talk about, and because we're dealing with so many environmental issues, food supply issues, the average recommendation of servings of fruits and vegetables now just keeps going up because of those factors. And so now practitioners are recommending, 10 servings a day on average. If you have a chronic condition, 13 to 18 servings. And these are like impossible numbers. As conscious as I am as an eater, and as well as I'm doing, on my best days, I'm probably getting in about 9. Mm-hmm. And not to mention the fact that I can't always find organic. I can't always find vine ripened. I can't, so it's not always pesticide free. So the clean vine ripened raw quality, pesticide free quality is almost impossible to find. So do you have any recommendations on what we can do to supplement? The research on vitamins is not good. So where do we go to supplement and bridge that gap?
So, the most conscientious eater, like you said, you can do your due diligence, and some of the people that come through my door are like, but I eat really healthy. And you can eat really healthy, and you're probably doing as well as you are because you're eating healthy. However, because our bodies need far more than really our farming practices as a whole are allowing us to have. I mean, our food isn't as nutrient dense as it used to be because of the way that we farm now. So one of the things that I recommend to people in my practice is Juice Plus. There is one product in particular, the greens product. Now, there are 3 that all have elements that I work with in terms of like mentioning to people, oh, hey, you have some stagnation, let's get some cherry into your system, right? So, those are things that I would recommend anyway. But Juice Plus, I loved the fact, as a practitioner, I loved the fact that it was such a well-researched product. I felt really good about recommending it to my clients because there was research to back, and there was data to back the quality of the product. But I have celiac disease. So, making sure that it is pesticide free and you're conscious about like chemicals and how it's handled. Everything in my world is like, pay attention to how it's handled. And that's, something that I could say with confidence, regardless of whether I had a client that had, Crohn's, celiac, IBS, anything like that, because a lot of women will come in with IBS because, our wheat products have 3 times the genetic components that it used to, which is why there's so many people with gluten intolerances. So, I felt really good about this particular product. And for women that have blood deficiency, the greens product is just top shelf. Over half of the items that I will generally recommend people get higher concentrations of in order to be able to support building blood, which is important not only when you're walking into pregnancy, but during pregnancy and after. A lot of those elements are all in that greens product. But then like the orchard blend has the cherry that I recommend to people, and the berries have, you know, elderberry, which is just fantastic for your immune system. But then, you know, other like black currant, which is really good for kidney and support. So like there are elements in these products that I'm already recommending to people, but it allows me to give them the higher concentrations that their body needs in order to function optimally. And my clients are really seeing amazing results with how their periods morph in a very quick period of time, because not only is the steaming modality incredibly effective in a short period of time, but having this nutritional component, it's the 1-2 punch that people need in order to be able to meet their goals in a shorter period of time.
That's great. And so I, you know, just to share, obviously I prompted you with that question, but I've been taking Juice Plus for almost 5 years now, and I don't have children, and I'm about to turn 50, so I'm not in the market to get pregnant. But I will say that, you know, having had a lifetime of menstrual issues, everything is so much better on that front. Hormonally, I'm much more in balance, and it's just such peace of mind knowing I'm getting 30 fruits, vegetables, and berries from the entire rainbow of color in my bloodstream every day, in addition to what I'm preparing in terms of my meals and snacks. And again, with, you know, on my best days, getting about 9 servings in, I know I'm bridging that gap every day with vine-ripened, pesticide-free produce, and there's just nothing like it. I've just never felt better, and I just want to shout it from the rooftop so everybody knows about it. So I appreciate, you know, your endorsement because of your background and, you know, all of the education you have in alternative health and Eastern medicine and women's health. So tell us a little bit. I know that your practice, Moon Essence, is in Dover, New Hampshire, but you actually have a worldwide clientele, correct?
I do. I see people all over the world. It's actually kind of cool that I can use world instead of just country now. So I work with people all over the United States. I have people in India, people in Bermuda, you know, all over the world, which is really cool. And this practice, like I said at the beginning, is found on every continent. So even though I practice from an Eastern perspective, you can find it in a lot of different cultures, but nutrition and this practice are all very core components, no matter what continent you find it on, which is really cool.
That's great. So the cool thing is Juice Plus is also around the world. And so you and I can share both tools with people in countries all over the world. And we have no restrictions in terms of where you can order Juice Plus or how you can get in contact with Adrienne or myself. So if you have watched this video and you have questions about Adrienne's practice or about Juice Plus, let us know in the comments section, direct message us, and we will get back to you with those answers and with a link to order Juice Plus if you decide you want to do that. Juice Plus is sold through direct sales, so we would love it if you would order from us directly, and spread the word about whole food nutrition and the importance of women's health and steaming practice and all of these great tools that we have to share with everyone. So thank you, Adrienne.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate your time as well. And so it's always fun to hang out with you, and I hope to do more of it soon. And everybody have a great evening, and we'll see you all soon. Thank you for joining us.